Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're tackling a topic that'll change how you view your grocery list. These 10 items could vanish from stores by May 2025. From your morning coffee to baby formula, shortages are looming, and here's why. Make sure you're subscribed. This is one video you don't want to miss. Let's dive in. Imagine walking into your favorite store and finding empty shelves where staple items once sat. Supply chain chaos, climate disasters and global tensions are converging, and your cart might pay the price. Let's break down what's at risk and why. 10. Avocados. The green gold crisis. Avocados, the creamy green heart of your toast and guacamole, are in trouble, and Mexico's Michoacan region, where 80% of US avocados grow, is ground zero. Picture this lush land as a thirsty giant. Droughts have sucked rivers dry, forcing farmers to fight over water like kids, scrambling for the last juice box. Every avocado needs gallons of water to grow, and with supplies shrinking, harvests are withering. Meanwhile, drug cartels lurk like shadowy gatekeepers, demanding cuts of profits or blocking shipments entirely. It's like trying to run a bakery while bullies guard the flour. If this continues, your guac habit could become a luxury. Prices might double, turning avocado toast from a brunch staple into a splurge. Stores might push alternatives. Think pricier, bland cousins of the real thing, like knockoff sneakers that blister your feet. But the deeper issue is a war over water. Farmers and towns are locked in a tug-of-war over every drop, while US safety inspectors, spooked by cartel violence, play hide-and-seek with export checks. Delays pile up like unread emails, leaving store shelves emptier. So next time you dip a chip, ask yourself, will this cost $20 someday? The clock's ticking on green gold. 9. Coffee. The morning brew meltdown. Your morning cup of coffee, the warm hug that kickstarts your day, is under threat. And the reasons are as bitter as a burnt brew. In Brazil, where nearly a third of the world's coffee grows, droughts bake the soil like cookies left too long in the oven. Meanwhile, Colombia's coffee mountains drown under relentless rains, washing away delicate Arabica beans prized for their smooth flavor. Add Gen Z's obsession with iced lattes and cold brews, and demand is boiling over like a forgotten pot on the stove. This storm of problems could leave your mug filled with cheaper, tougher Robusta beans. Think of it as swapping a gourmet chocolate bar for a chalky substitute. To keep up, companies might cut corners, squeezing farmers who already earn pennies per pound. Fair trade brands, which promise fair wages and eco-friendly practices, could vanish like steam from a cup, leaving workers vulnerable to exploitation. Behind the scenes, small coffee farms in places like Ethiopia, where the drink was born, are crumbling. Imagine a family tree losing its roots. A quarter of Ethiopian growers have already abandoned their fields, unable to survive falling prices and climate blows. Without them, the rich floral notes that make your coffee special could fade. So, what's left? A world where your daily grind might mean brewing weaker blends or worse, going without. Could you handle a caffeine-free Monday? Drop a comment below. Stock up on beans while you can. 8. Chocolate. The sweet treat disaster chocolate. The sweet escape we unwrap after a tough day is facing a meltdown, and the problems start where cocoa trees grow. In Ghana and Ivory Coast, which produce over half the world's cocoa, the trees are like weary grandparents. Many are over 30 years old, too tired to yield enough beans, while a deadly fungus spreads through farms like gossip in a small town. To make matters trickier, new EU laws banning cocoa made with child labor are forcing companies to find ethical sources, a hunt as tough as finding a needle in a haystack, since few farms can meet the strict rules. Your favorite chocolate bar is already changing. Hershey's and others are quietly shrinking sizes. Imagine your go-to snack bar losing a bite-sized chunk, but still costing the same. To fill shelves, cheaper imitations labeled chocolatey or cocoa-flavored might appear, using palm oil and additives instead of the real thing. It's like swapping a hand-painted masterpiece for a dollar store poster. The real tragedy? Many cocoa farmers are walking away. Even as chocolate prices rise, 60% of growers earn less than it costs to farm. Picture working a full day only to owe money. It's no surprise families are abandoning generations-old farms. Without them, the future of chocolate darkens like a overcooked cookie. Like a melting ice cream cone on a hot day, time is slipping away to fix this. Will your next sweet treat be a shadow of its former self? The clock's ticking. 7. Seafood. The ocean's empty nets. The ocean's pantry is running bare, and your seafood platter is paying the price. 9 out of 10 fish populations worldwide are being hauled up faster than they can rebuild, like a savings account drained to its last penny. Alaska's once teeming salmon runs, vital for everything from sushi to smoked fillets, have shriveled by 70% in 5 years, chased off by Pacific heatwaves that turn their chilly rivers into bathtubs. Meanwhile, the seafood aisle is quietly filling up with farmed shrimp from overcrowded Asian ponds, where chemicals and sewage swirl like uninvited guests in a murky soup. This shift isn't just about taste. Farmed fish, raised on plastic-laced feed, can carry 3 times more microplastics than wild catches. Think of it as biting into a protein bar sprinkled with sand. Yet as wild stocks vanish, we're left with fewer choices, like a menu that's half erased. The bigger fight? Politics. The US and Canada are locked in a tug-of-war over shrinking fishing quotas, arguing like siblings over the last slice of pie. Every delayed deal means more empty nets and uncertain futures for coastal towns. So that sushi dinner you love? It's clinging to the menu by a thread. Unless we reel in solutions fast, the ocean's bounty might soon be a story we tell our kids, not something they'll taste. 6. Wheat products. The breadbasket, bust wheat, the golden backbone of your bread, pasta, and morning cereal, is caught in a perfect storm. Ukraine and Russia, once the world's breadbasket, are locked in a war that's turned the Black Sea into a highway clogged with danger. Imagine ships full of grain idling like cars in a traffic jam, unable to deliver 30% of the globe's wheat exports. Meanwhile, America's heartland isn't faring better. Droughts in Kansas and Oklahoma have cracked the soil like an old china plate, slashing harvests by nearly half. The ripple effect hits your kitchen hard. Bread prices could leap by 50%, turning a basic loaf into a luxury item. Picture a $10 price tag on your sandwich bread. Pasta, cereal, and even beer, which relies on wheat, follow suit, like dominoes toppling one after another. Companies scrambling for alternatives might push oddball fixes like cricket flour or lentil-based noodles, a plot twist no one saw coming. But behind the scenes, farmers are drowning in debt. 1 in 4 US wheat growers risks losing their land, trapped between rising costs and shrinking payouts. It's like planting seeds in a sinking ship. Without help, these stewards of the soil could vanish, taking their crops and your dinner with them. The breadbasket isn't just strained, it's buckling. And unless the world acts, that humble loaf on your counter might soon feel like a relic of simpler times. Before we reveal the top 5, hit that like button if you're shocked so far. Now, the items that'll hit hardest. 5. Baby formula. The repeat crisis baby formula, the lifeline for millions of infants, is teetering on the edge of another crisis, and parents are caught in a stressful scavenger hunt. The 2022 shutdown of Abbott Labs' formula factory, akin to a burst water main flooding a town's only well, still leaves ripples. Even now, half-repaired supply chains tremble. Meanwhile, the FDA blocks shipments of European formula over labeling technicalities, like rejecting a library book for a torn cover while ignoring the story inside. Desperate parents face empty shelves, their panic buying turning the shortage into a self-fulfilling prophecy, like a school lunch rush where everyone grabs the last apple. The fallout. A dangerous black market blooms online, where unregulated formula sells like shady alleyway gadgets, risking babies' health with untested ingredients. But the root issue is a system held hostage by just 3 companies controlling 90% of the market. It's like a town with only 3 grocery stores. If one burns down, everyone starves. For mothers, this isn't just inconvenient, it's a nightmare. Imagine running a marathon only to find the finish line keeps moving. Hunting for formula feels like searching for medicine in a desert, and no parent should face that. Until competition grows and regulations adapt, the crisis will loom like storm clouds, threatening to drown families in worry once more. 4. Canned goods. The shelf-stable squeeze canned goods. The trusty backups in your pantry for rainy days are getting harder to find, and the reasons are stacking up like unopened soup cans. Aluminum, the metal that makes cans possible, has become as pricey as a rare gem, with costs tripling since 2020. Why? Energy crises and factory slowdowns have squeezed supplies tighter than a sealed jar lid. Add 2023's labor strikes in California canneries, where workers fought for fair pay like underdogs in a wrestling match, and production dropped by over a third. The result? Factories stand half empty, machines idle like parked cars with no gas. The fallout hits hardest where it hurts. Food banks that once relied on canned beans and tomatoes now face bare shelves, forcing families into soup lines straight from history books. Meanwhile, ordinary folks are rebooting grandma's habits. Sales of mason jars have quadrupled as people DIY canned veggies, turning kitchens into mini factories. Meet Sarah from Ohio, who's been preserving her garden harvest for 2 years. It started as a hobby, she says. Now it's survival. But nature isn't helping. Midwest floods, arriving like uninvited guests every spring, drown tomato and bean fields, shrinking harvests. Even when crops survive, shipping snarls, trucker shortages, port logjams, leave food rotting in transit. It's like planning a road trip with a map full of washed-out bridges. Canned goods once symbolized security. Now they're a reminder that even the sturdiest systems can crumble, and sometimes the best fix is a jar, a pot, and a prayer. 3. Spices. The flavor fade. The vibrant colors and aromas that turn simple meals into feasts are fading from our kitchens like a painter's palette, losing its brightest hues. India, the world's spice powerhouse, is holding tight to its turmeric and ginger, staples in curries and health remedies, to feed its own population first. Imagine a gardener growing a rainbow of flowers but closing the gate, leaving neighbors with dull bouquets. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's cinnamon trees, once rolling out fragrant bark like nature's scrolls, stand abandoned as the country's economic collapse leaves farmers' broken fields untended. Without these spices, restaurant menus are turning bland. That smoky BBQ sauce or zesty taco seasoning, they might taste as flat as a song, missing its chorus. Desperate to fill the gap, shady sellers are mixing sawdust or chalk into pure spice jars, like watering down juice until it's just tinted water. But nature isn't helping. In Vietnam, tiny beetles are devouring pepper crops like locusts in a biblical plague, ruining half the harvests. These pests thrive in warmer, wetter weather, a sign of climate shifts scrambling the recipe for spice farming. Even your beloved pumpkin spice latte isn't safe. With cinnamon scarce and prices soaring, that iconic autumn flavor might soon be a ghost of its former self, like a campfire without the crackle. Our plates are losing their personality, and unless the world rallies, every meal risks becoming a monochrome memory of what once was. 2. Beef. The burger blackout. The sizzle of the classic American burger is fizzling as beef faces a perfect storm. In drought-stricken Texas, where cattle once roamed vast pastures, cracked earth now stretches like a parched sponge, demanding unimaginable water, 2,000 gallons per pound of beef, enough to fill a small pool just for a few patties. New EPA rules targeting methane, a gas cows burp like smokestacks, are forcing ranchers to shrink herds, as if a law suddenly limited backyard gardens to a single tomato plant. The ripple effect is harsh. Beef prices could triple, turning Sunday grill sessions into luxury affairs. Fast food dollar menus might vanish like popsicles in July, replaced by pricier plant-based patties that, despite their eco-friendly claims, face skepticism. Lab-grown meat, pitched as a sci-fi solution, struggles to win over diners who crave the real deal, like trading a campfire for a hologram. Ranchers, meanwhile, are digging in their heels. Protests clog state capitals like rush-hour traffic, with signs reading "No farms, no food" waving like battle flags. For generations, beef has been a cultural cornerstone, a symbol of freedom and feasts. Now rising costs and regulations threaten to butcher tradition. Could this mark the end of the all-American BBQ? Maybe not yet, but the flames are certainly dying down. As the grill cools, we're left wondering what fills the plate when even the staples slip away. 1. Baby food pouches, the squeeze silences. Baby food pouches, the squeeze-and-go lifesavers for busy parents, are vanishing from shelves, leaving families scrambling like commuters missing the last train. 12 states are banning single-use pouches by 2025, aiming to cut plastic waste, but for parents, it's like removing a rung from an already wobbly ladder. Trust took another hit in 2024 when major brands faced recalls over heavy metals. Picture a toddler's Gold Star snack transformed into a tarnished trophy. The fallout is chaos. Working parents, already juggling jobs and bedtime routines, can't suddenly become chefs. Making homemade purees requires time they don't have, like adding a part-time job to a 24/7 shift. Desperate, some turn to sketchy online sellers, offering unregulated pouches from Cambodia, which pop up like weeds in a neglected garden. These black market buys risk unsafe ingredients, turning mealtime into a gamble. Behind the scenes, big food companies are fighting to delay the plastic bans, spending millions like playground bullies trying to keep their sandbox. They argue eco-friendly packaging isn't ready, but parents see it as stalling, a bandage on a bullet wound. For families, this isn't just about convenience, it's about survival. Imagine racing through a maze blindfolded, your child hungry, and the finish line keeps moving. The squeeze pouch wasn't just a meal, it was a minute saved, a breath caught. Without it, the chaos crescendos, leaving parents to wonder, how do I keep my baby fed and the planet safe? Sometimes there's no right answer, just empty hands and a sinking heart. So, will Mate 2025 leave us staring at barren shelves? It's not inevitable, but without action on climate, trade and fair wages, these shortages could define our next decade. Let's remember, behind every empty shelf are farmers, truckers and families struggling to adapt. If you learn something, smash that subscribe button. We'll keep you ahead of the curve. Stay savvy, folks. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment. Which item shocked you most? See you next time.